So over the last few lessons, we've talked a lot about UCS Performance Manager. UCS Performance Manager has a function called application groups. And what these are is they're basically a way for a user to be able to define and group a set of hosts and applications so that you have the ability to be able to identify all of the components that make up those applications. Applications aren't just a piece of software sitting in a virtual machine. In many cases, they're a system. And there's a lot of components that are part of delivering that service back to the end users or customers or whatever it is that application's doing. So the ability to be able to automatically connect and map all those components together and look at them as a system is something we can do with application groups within UCS Performance Manager. And the idea behind it is it allows me to be able to create a dynamic view of the health of all these applications and the infrastructure pieces that those applications rely on. And that's very valuable in troubleshooting, as well as be able to make sure that we've got the right focus on the application as a whole. And it allows us to be able to identify any components that could be affected by resource constraints or hardware faults and how that's going to impact the application as a whole. So this is what it would look like within UCS Performance Manager. So you have the ability to be able to define the application as a set of operating systems. So here we've got that top level view all the way to the left. And then you've got the components that make up that piece of it. The rest of the pieces are dynamically built based on connectivity to the application itself. So where the virtual machine lives, we'd be able to understand what particular UCS server that would be sitting on. We'd be able to then understand what's connecting that UCS server to the network, so I can see the switches that are attributed to it. I can also see what storage arrays are tied to that particular application. So all these different components sort of tree out and build out a component list that shows how that application is constructed and operating. That allows me to be able to get an event-based view of all these different pieces, and I can then see if there's any particular area where I'm running into some challenges. Maybe I've got a performance problem on my database server link. All of that would be displayed here. So this gives you a bigger view of that, where you'd actually be able to see all those different performance characteristics in a very simple view. So this is the ability to be able to use an application group to be able to manage and really view all of the performance associated with a specific application. It's a very powerful feature and something that is quite useful in managing your cloud environment.